The other person. Mm-hmm. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. This old bag. This is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Okay. So, after you finish your guard duties? After? Another job? That's right, I check all the people that passed by the main gate that day. I look closely at every one of the photos that Social Security camera takes. Do you back up all of the security camera data? Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating. So terrible. So go ahead, tell me why you didn't tell me this before. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? Huh, a fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys are real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about, and one was there that day. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate, so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and... They're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids? So, on the photo that you erased... It's a boy, probably second or third grade. What? Order. Let me get this straight. You saw two people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai, dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about second or third grade. Oh, yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in second or third grade? I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. And possibly also a witness. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. October 18, 11:08 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby Number 3. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff.
couldn't imagine they would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me?
It doesn't look good.
You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! What are we gonna do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right. But if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot.
You don't sound very optimistic.
I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick. It's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. Now, the photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts?
The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. Obviously. There is another person who could have committed the crime.
Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized.
Right. As if the stakes weren't high enough.
So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder?
I mean, Bark.
It really could have been any of them. No one was paying attention to what she was doing, but I don't wonder,
Ark. I mean, it could be the boy. We don't know who it is. It would be a boy dressed up in a samurai costume. Who knows? It was the grade school boy. Why isn't anyone saying anything?
Are you seriously suggesting the boy did it, Mr. Wright? Grade school boy kills veteran action star with spear. For one thing, the murder weapon was with the Steel Samurai. Would you care to explain just how the boy would have obtained it from him?
Maybe that was a dumb move on my part. Maybe. How about absolutely, Nick?
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you as I warned.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
May we move on, Mr. Wright?
This fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please.
Very well, go ahead. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder?
I mean, bark.
Fine, Penny.
It was the assistant. The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai.
So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant?
That's correct, Your Honor.
If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Oh. Uh-oh. Bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury?
Powers and poor old Hammer were at the run-through. Oh, and me. What about the assistant? Oh, her. She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle.
Oh, that's true. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She wouldn't have lived.
It kind of takes the legs out from under the case.
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you as I warned. No! Fine.
Nobody knows, yes.
May we move on, Mr. Wright?
This fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please.
Very well. Go ahead. So, who is this person, other than Mr. Powers, that could have committed murder? Security lady who has seen everything.
It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run-through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper?
Order, order. Is this true, Oldbag?
Oldbag? That's Ms. Oldbag to you. Ms. Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder.
Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume?
Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers.
I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. No, I failed horribly, but okay.
Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it, is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something! What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way? Press! Press! The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers likes a clear motive too.
Indeed.
That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute! What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one whose photo I erased.
He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. Second or third grade, was it?
That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright?
That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it be nice to the kids and mean to your elders' day, whippersnapper? I have proof. Proof? Proof? Proof?
Indeed? Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder? Yeah, the card key that you need to get into the studio.
Take that!
The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key?
I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this?
The windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first.
Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Ms. Windy... What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Wait a second. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me? I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
Ms. Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, you must know there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk?
Well, testify.
My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Ms. Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Heartburn. Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Indeed. Why?
Hold it!
So you were told not to talk. That's right, by the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less.
Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it.
Some other people?
Hold it!
Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director?
We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course.
Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There was a Studio 2? Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination?
I think I've already asked all my questions, but... Sure. They said they had nothing to do with it, really?
Hold it!
Ms. Oldbag, this is a trial for... Wow, this is a trial for murder. I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. So you got your bonus and still talked. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. I mean, I would... Bark, I'm not ready to give up yet. I guess there's no harm in getting as much info as I can. Oh, that was probably indeed the last thing I'd say. So they told me to just pretend I hadn't been at the studios that day. Yeah, about that. Hold on. I don't have anything I can show that fixes that, do I? Oh, okay. Still want to hear what she says. So they were actually in the studio? Yes, the whole day. When they heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came. Kill this woman, I swear it. I feel sorry for Edgeworth, almost. She really left him hanging on this one. Okay. Them. Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer for starters. Yeah, okay, director. Right, we saw this, even though we didn't already see this. Okay. Right, so we did see all that. Okay, and he says we're done, so we're done. Okay. Alright. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think we're done. Okay, but... Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Ms. Oldbag, and more information about these other people we've just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. Whew. October 18, 1:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Oh, really, it's nothing. Oh, or should I... We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right. We'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks, guys. He continued. Oh no.